Stocks? Wall Street? GameStop?
Oh, capitalism. It's messy.
But what exactly has the GameStop fiasco taught us about the stock market? Well, one thing is for sure. It is full of vultures ready to snatch your weave.
Weave? They'll snatch more than that.
I want to highlight a couple of excerpts from Kenan Malik with The Guardian. The link to the full article is in the video description below. A stock buyback. A company purchasing its own shares to reduce the number openly available and so push the price up is a form of market manipulation that was illegal in the US until Ronald Reagan decided that to ban it was to restrict market freedom. As a result, many corporations, instead of building factories, now plow money into their own shares. It has helped raise the stock market to record levels and provided shareholders with a huge largesse. But few others have benefited. One report suggests that had Walmart diverted half the money it has spent on stock buybacks into wages, 1 million of its lowest paid employees, many of whom live below the poverty line, could have had a 50% pay increase.
It's almost as if capitalism promotes companies to exploit employees' work by hoarding wealth rather than promoting wages for the people whose work generates their profit.
Buybacks are one of the many reasons that our current economy doesn't reflect how things are actually going. Let's be honest, the struggle is real. There are simultaneous economic, health, and housing crises affecting the country.
Each crisis impacts society differently based on one's class in society. If we were judging only by Wall Street, America would be riding at an all-time high. But let's continue with the article.
Having the right connections means that when you whine, others listen. Regulators in Washington are now keeping an eye on possible market manipulation by social media groups. The digital investment app Robinhood, which has helped open the stock market to a wider public, restricted trades in GameStop, allowing investors to sell but not to buy, a sure way of pushing share prices down. The company insists that this was for technical reasons rather than from a desire to protect hedge funds. Small investors have, however, taken out a class action against Robinhood for knowingly manipulating the market. Last I checked, it's now a smorgasbord of lawsuits.
After spending probably too much time on Wall Street bets, which at the time of recording has 8.7 million degenerate apes as they refer to themselves, I noticed a clear change during the recent events. The content changed significantly once the SEC began looking into the group. Admins were switched out or barred from their moderating role by Reddit. Bots began flooding the group, specifically promoting people to sell the stock. Media choreographed a "look over there" manipulation by saying silver is the new meme. FYI, silver was never Reddit's next play. It was an intentional distraction to spare losses by hedge funds, because typically the media receives their information about Wall Street from Wall Street. Do not mistake the level of power the dollar has in America and the links those with capital will go to avoid paying it. The SEC and Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen, who took upwards of $700,000 to $800,000 in speaking fees from Citadel, the very hedge fund at the center of the GameStop saga she's supposed to investigate. The point is, those with large amounts of capital and power are very much paying attention and will stop at nothing to be on the winning side of the big casino game. Power players have literally cried and tried to guide their own billionaire narrative.
Oh, and they have been crying all right.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people, and, you know, I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull together.
So if one is to choose to invest in any of the meme stocks, GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, or just stocks in general, it's wise to use only funds that you're okay with losing. It worked incredibly well for those who got in early. Some were able to turn a few $1,000s into millions. But if you were a little late in the game, make sure to do research and determine if the volatility is worth your dollar. Just remember, those on the subreddit have financial motivation to say diamond hands and to keep people in the game. Nobody can be certain of what the trajectory of these meme stocks will be. It's possible that it'll end up being just a rotating pump and dump situation with the stocks. But the world is watching Reddit closely now that a little bit of wealth has been redistributed.
Unlike Devin, I've stayed out of the stonks. When it comes to investing, I don't even know what I don't know. It's risky, and just like most Americans, I don't like the idea of gambling my money away.
Let's be real, it's a gamble, and I stress out every time I buy a stock, especially after I bought some of the meme stonks.
Going back to the article, let's look at an example of convenient censorship. Discord, an online platform, banned Wall Street Bets from its servers for spreading hate speech, glorifying violence, and spreading misinformation. By all accounts, group members indulged in racism and homophobia. Its founder, who was expelled earlier this year, claims that some moderators were straight-up white supremacists. It's quite a coincidence, though, that the group should be taken down for hate speech on the day that big investors lost so much money. At the same time, the relationship between such groups and regressive politics shows how much Wall Street has become associated with liberals and how much of the anger against big corporations has been hoovered up by the populist right. Discord's action demonstrates again the power of tech companies to shut down groups or discussions that those with power and influence find troublesome. It demonstrates, too, how campaigns against hate speech or misinformation can become means of throttling much wider forms of challenges to authority.
Make no mistake, this surge of meme stocks is not an isolated incident. It's among a string of events propelled by grievances in America. Robinhood is a continuation of the digital democratization of virtually every service imaginable. Taxis, hotels, food delivery, grocery shopping, dog walking, etc. all have been done. It was natural a platform would do the same with the stock market. But let me quote from another interesting article, also in The Guardian, which the link is down below, describing the democracy provided is merely an illusion. Many of the angry crusaders taking on the hedge fund industry are certainly aware that their own gains are temporary and fleeting. But who could deny them the pleasure of reaffirming their own agency by sticking it to the man, all while knowing that the long-term gains of the process would accrue to other hedge funds and asset managers such as BlackRock, which is estimated to have made billions on the GameStop rush. Far from deepening democracy, platform populism turns into a farcical, yet highly profitable, theater performance.
So basically, the Wall Street Bets people use the same tactics that Wall Street uses to get ahead, and they couldn't take it. It's all a show, and the big businesses continue to rule the world. Now let me get in the gig and invest all my savings into Dogecoin. I hear they are going to the moon. I love them stonks.
Gotta love them. I mean, I probably have spent way too much time on Reddit lately for research. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. It's kind of like mob mentality there. There's a few beliefs, diamond hands, we're going to the moon. Mm-hmm. And if you don't particularly agree with that, especially like the newer people showing up on the forum, they just don't want to hear it. You
Right.
can give them all the information, and they're already invested because Shit, people were putting their life savings in a GameStop stock that
Right.
is overvalued.
The thing with Wall Street bets is I'm sure there's a lot of people that legitimately they feel like it may be a group that's there to help them because they want to get up, they want to get put their hat in the ring and make some money. But what we need to keep in mind is that Wall Street bets is filled with rich people that, have the funds to just throw money wherever they want. And if it gets hot, they can spread the word and be like, hey, let's make this a thing. Let's get everyone in on this. And that to me it's very irresponsible and dangerous in the sense of people that don't have that kind of money get in, and then these people don't care of the consequences because they have something to fall back on.
Or maybe it's like new people that aren't familiar with the stock market and they don't really understand that maybe some of the things that they say are just kind of trolling you and they're not really being honest.
Right.
And it's really hard to tell that in a digital form, you know?
It's definitely illuminated how the stock market is rigged. There's people that, what was that you were telling me? There was something you have to spend a lot of money on to keep an eye on what stocks are going to be doing really well.
The Bloomberg terminal. It's like $25,000 a year. And arguably you get the best stock information from it. The user interface is kind of like ancient, maybe 80s, 90s, but you're getting the best information out of any platform.
Right. And surprise, surprise, the only people that can afford to give themselves a step up on everything are people with a lot of money.
$25,000, it's kind of a little bit steep, right?
Gotta love the stock market. Gotta love all
And
these,
even like if you're a broker, if you're a trader in Wall Street, you have access to trading faster than somebody on Robinhood or Public or
right, and
Webull, any of the platforms.
And then the people that, I don't think they're necessarily forthcoming with, whenever they shut it down for the night. And there's certain people that have access, right, after hours access, and nobody knows what they're doing. They could be rigging that, completely keeping that rigged system going. Rigor mortis.
Well, who knows?
That's the thing. Who knows? It is so hard to regulate that shit.
And then yeah, we have the SEC, but the SEC is like not even taken too seriously amongst them. If you have so much money, what's a fine?
Right.
Like, who cares?
Like,
they're not even enforcing a lot of the regulations that they have. So
I'm sure a lot of these oligarchs are laughing and they're like, oh, they want to investigate? Throw some billions in their face and get them off our trail.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sad part about this, is that people with money, they don't give a damn.
And if you throw a little bit of democratization of the app, right, and somehow the masses perform a feat that upsets, can't have that, let's shut it down.
They're going to do whatever they can to end that. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation if you're poor and you're just trying to, you're trying to do what they say, do the homework, invest wisely, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's all rigged. They've got everything.
I mean, you can invest wisely.
Well,
I wouldn't say necessarily the GameStop Reddit mob.
I don't mean the Reddit mob. I mean people in general. If people want to,
you can make money in it.
Right. No, I understand that. But just in general, if people like really work hard and they do everything in their own power, they build themselves up, their wealth up, they're still at a disadvantage to people that have lots and lots of money and that they can extend a bone and give lots of money to their friends. And it's just a big convoluted mess. And we don't even know what we don't know because They, I'm sure, do a great job of hiding all that.
In a fair world, GameStop would have gone to the moon. Or
Been
maybe the
regulated
system wouldn't.
Way harder.
The system wouldn't be the way it is in general. But
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why even during a pandemic, when everyone's suffering left and right, who didn't suffer? Who didn't miss a beat? The Wall Street, the stock market. They were seeing gains,
In their friends
historic
and family.
gains.
yeah.
I'm over here having to cut back from putting avocado on my toast, and they are making even more money. Ciao. The nerve.
The audacity.
The audacity. So what do you guys think?
Do y'all have something to say? Give us a comment down below.